Hey guys, this video is sponsored to you by Manscaped.
Yeah, New Year's is coming up, and you know everyone's resolution is to take better care of yourself.
Yep.
And no better way to do that than to start with Manscaped. They got everything you need in this performance package.
Look good,
Balls
feel
will
good,
thank
guys. Click the links down below, and I hope you guys enjoy the review. Hey, we just got back from Aquaman 2, or otherwise known as Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And this is the last hurrah for the DCEU.
Why?
Moment of silence for the end of this.
So good.
It's been so good, Joe. This film is completely disinterested with making it seem like, you know, saying goodbye or anything. It feels like they're going to get 5 more films with the story they chose for this one. And I could tell you that on Rotten Tomatoes, it's not doing too well. I think, what is it at? 39% right now. And this thing was notorious. Going through tons of reshoots, trying to make it work, and then test audiences not liking it, so they did a lot of reshooting. There was the whole controversy with Amber Heard. Does anybody even remember that?
She pooped to bed.
Yeah, she pooped. Yeah, and people were like, "I'm gonna boycott this film." I don't think anybody was boycotting the film still over Amber Heard, maybe because WB was cynically and smartly said, "We're not gonna release it. We're gonna wait till you guys forget about all that and then release it last minute." Here we are, December 21st of 2023, and it comes out. Frankly, I think it had a really good trailer because I saw it and I'm like, I'll see what all the hubbub is about. It looks just as crazy as the first CGI fest, and kingdoms fighting each other, and Jason getting to go ham and doing whatever he wants. Plus, you got this brotherly love thing between, Ocean Master, Om and, Arthur, Aquaman, and that looked funny to me. And so, we saw it, and I would say that the DCEU ends with a wet, loud fart. And
Farts are funny though, so
that's true. The film wasn't as funny. There was 2 funny moments, and that was in the buddy cop thing, with him and his brother, which are the parts that I appreciated the most. I'd say this film is half as good as the first film, and take with that what you will. I actually like the first film. A lot of people like the first film. Made $1 billion. I don't think this is making $1 billion. So I think it's probably half as good, maybe even less than half as good.
Yeah, the first one is, I think, is what we needed too, because like everything was so dark, and this was like first we saw it. It's like colorful and lighthearted. It's like, oh my god, this is actually pretty good.
Just popcorn film, you know. That's what I went to this, even with the low expectations in the popcorn film. I have a headache, so I'm gonna let Alex go first.
Yeah, I don't think this movie is very good, and I like the first one for what it was, right? Like I like popcorn dumb action films.
Yes, we do.
This was not that, right? Like I was hoping that at least I
wish it was
leaning heavier into the buddy cop thing. Like they've got the street man, and then Ric Flair, also known as Arthur. Like
that would have been great.
It would have been really fun, and then you set up like a kind of believable bad guy thing. You don't make it too crazy, and then we set up a big thing, and then everything is fine. And then they went crazy.
It went too far in all these directions and not far enough in the areas that work. So the buddy cop stuff, 20 minutes?
Maybe.
Maybe less than that?
Maybe less. I think that there was like believable fun 15 minutes of buddy cop stuff. And if we had stretched that stuff out, then we set up a minor conflict. They resolved the minor conflict, set up a major conflict. But it feels like James Wan wanted to do too much with Aquaman 2.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know.
Well, did you see what he did with Aquaman 1? He put a lot in there.
Yeah, but
and now he puts a lot into this one, and it works less.
It's just like that one, as big as it was still kind of focused and kind of fit the fun summer popcorn movie formula.
Yeah.
This one, like the plot for the bad guy thing is like all over the fucking place, and he's putting in like current events into it.
So generic.
And they're just doing so much shit that you just don't need to do. And I think that every step they took away from the original formula just dilutes Aquaman 2 to the point where I didn't have very much fun. I don't think it was funny. I think they wasted Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is the ending that the DCEU deserves because I don't think it's very good. And I think that I hope they lose a fuckload of money and they fire everyone who was in charge of writing all that stuff. Because honestly, these are characters that I love. Not the Flash. I don't love the Flash, and I don't love Green Lantern. But like Aquaman's a character that actually at least I like.
Yeah.
And I want
this new version of Jason Momoa, just so much injected life, and I really like that first one, and it's.
And I want better, and I think they deserve better. And I was sitting there wanting to like this movie, and I just don't think they wanted to let me.
Yeah. Well, this was a movie. That's about the good. This was a movie. This is it. That sucked.
Maybe the problem here is, well, the screenplay is actually by the same person. Now, David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick. He also had help the first one in the first film by Will Bielli. But the story in that one was by Jeff Johns, James Wan, and Will Beal. Okay, so maybe this Will Beal guy kind of reined people in because he was in the story and the screenplay. Now, in the sequel, it's just the David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick screenplay and story by David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick, James Wan, Jason Momoa gets a credit, and Thomas Pa Sibbett. So there's a lot of cooks in that kitchen. Usually when you let an actor, well, I don't know if Jason.
But
we don't know what his contributions were. So go ahead, Joe.
I went into this movie when we saw the trailer. I was like, it's gonna be CGI fest. It looked fucking average, so I was down for some dumb fun. But I came out and it was fucking dumb, is what it was. The pacing of this movie was fucking terrible. The editing was terrible. Like certain scenes, they wouldn't let breathe. So you're just like, all right, something dramatic happened. Next scene.
I turned to Joe. I was like,
what the fuck?
They didn't let that breathe.
Yeah, so the
We
editing
just
was
moved
horrible.
on.
Yeah, it's like at times it's like, oh, it's dragging ass and then breakneck speeds. It's like I didn't care about any of this.
You
Checked
didn't
out.
care? I thought I heard you giggling
Oh
when
my God,
someone
Okay,
died.
hold on. Wait.
I laughed at one funny part, but
You're not supposed
We'll talk
to. It's
about
not
it in
funny.
spoilers.
You're supposed to not be laughing at that
And
point.
Joe's laughing.
And Joe's laughing because this movie was so bad.
It was the only funny part.
Yes,
But it's not supposed to be funny.
I know. This
Okay.
is fucking terrible.
So I guess I'll come in and defend the film.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I also did not enjoy it. And it wasn't as good as I was hoping. The trailer is much better than the actual film. A lot of the trailer scenes kind of misled me that there'd be like, these battles and laser battles and no, it's like one submarine trying to break into an Atlantis and then stupidly getting out. That makes no fucking sense with the whole. There's a lot of things that don't make sense. We'll get into the spoilers. But no, there's like zero character development for anyone. Everybody is the same fucking person at the beginning of the film as they are at the end of the film. The only one would be Ohm, and that's only because he was a villain in the first film. And if you inject him here as a buddy cop, brotherly love kind of thing, then obviously he has to begrudgingly love his brother by the end, right?
Yeah,
and that is the only thing that worked. That and one other thing. So I'll say those scenes. What's his name? Patrick Wilson. He's a great actor.
Yes.
Knows how to do the comedy timing, and the straight man kind of thing. And his chemistry with Jason Momoa, I think I would have been way more interested in that film. And that's kind of what it looked like in the trailer. It's kind of what it is here, but you don't get enough of those scenes. No. There's just so much other, shit with the Black Manta, with the fucking...
back and forth.
Just other superfluous stuff in between the kingdoms. Like one of the worst Dolph Lundgren performances I have ever seen. I don't know why they told him you can do an accent, a royal accent, and Dolph just goes.
It was bizarre.
It was bizarre. It was rubbish.
No.
Kind of.
No.
He's
do it
a
again.
terrible actor. And he's no.
Rubbish.
Well, that's the thing. They said, just go. Let's go.
Yo, fuck it.
But one other thing I will say is good is the world building. James Wan is like, let's fucking go. So it's like This is a comic book movie. From one panel to the next, you got one panel and they fucking got sharks with lasers on their heads, and then the next panel there's fucking desert, fucking scorpion, beetle, disgusting bugs that are ridden like horses that can go up vertical surfaces. Just and everything. It almost feels like a green screen. Right. Here's the problem is you can't see none of it because everything is going so fast. There's so much debris and explosions everywhere that you can't really appreciate it. And only occasionally when they slow it down and do a little fight scene where, Jason Momoa gets to punch people and Ocean Master gets to punch people, it was all right. But then it's the brevity of those fight scenes when they chill out with the CGI is so fast, and then they move on to more CGI where you lose your investment and it's just visual candy. But the problem is with the first film, it's something new. You've never seen it. It's like fucking all over the place, and it's visual candy, and there's this fun atmosphere and energy to it. Here, I don't know if it's because they tried to take it too serious, or they were going with it darker, or they were rushing through everything, or they were hiding Amber Heard as much as they could, but then having to bring her to the front because she's the mother of the child, and everybody would be like, well, where's Amber Heard? So it's awkward. You could definitely tell the reshoots. The pacing is so all over the place. And when you compare this superhero film to other better superhero films that have better pacing, that have better stories, that have better screenplay, the problem with this, the villain is those villain of the week. Your fucking CGI fucking demon guy that's just evil, and they can't even do that correctly. They have floating head syndrome like there was in Ragnarok. And it was, and Joe, Joe, these are Necrons ripping off 440K. I'm sure they're in the comics or whatever. I'm not familiar with the Aquaman comics. Maybe Warhammer 40K ripped off Aquaman with Necros or whatever. But these are Necrons. And we were like, this is Necrons. They're just so lazy. And unfortunately, while the world building was good, and there's flashes of funniness in the brotherly love because the jokes. Basically, every time they do a deadpan thing with Patrick Wilson is when I was laughing and enjoying it. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it was just boring and visual. Just doesn't matter.
Yeah, it felt like there was two things smashed together because they really leaned heavily into climate change in this movie, and climate change sets up something, and then in the end, it doesn't even end up mattering. It doesn't actually matter. So we spend 45 minutes to an hour on this conflict.
It's annoying and preachy, but then they wipe it away by saying, oh, wait, we're doing it too. And here's the explanation for the global warming is that we're burning energy under the water.
The bad guys, and even one of the main characters, looks in the camera and goes, none of that actually mattered because of blood magic, and it was going to be frozen anyway. And everything is, don't worry about any of that. And then we're going to go on to what we had filmed before, or maybe what they'd filmed before was like not the reshoots. I don't know what it was, but they felt like they smashed two conflicts together, and it just felt like they wasted my time.
Yeah, and then they were like, well, that's not magic, that's DNA. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Just shut up. I don't know what you're talking about and why you're doing this.
Oh,
I want you to go away. Yeah. You don't need to say that line. You can just say, oh, he's got the blood of the thing. And there's a magic lock.
That's just
but
Nicole
for no
Kidman's
reason,
face
Nicole
now.
Kidman just goes, it's not magic, it's DNA. It's like, no, it's magic. And then also DNA.
Well, she's
but why'd you have to drop it?
lady. Her face can't emote anymore.
Yeah, that's
it was like that. It was that way in Northman too, where she's sitting there like, I am acting very, very much right now. It's like, lady, your face can't move anymore.
You don't need
Please stop
to do
it.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Anyways.
Terrible.
Yeah.
There's like this, for me, I felt like there was a whole bunch of pointless CGI. They're just sitting around and they look terrible with the wavy hair. It's like, you don't need that. Just have them
It's
sit
underwater,
down.
Joe. What
I don't get
how
it.
are you supposed to know they're underwater?
You don't need
the
to
fuck
do
are you
that.
supposed to do? Well,
It
they
looked
did it in the first
fucking
film. They can't just
terrible.
drain the water from the goddamn ocean in the
looked
fucking thing.
Bad. Go to a fucking room. It's like, oh, this is a room. Cool.
But honestly, I got over
it.
that, Joe. But I will agree with you that the there's just so much CGI, and the way it's filmed, that everything is going so fast. And then there's dark moments, and then there's explosions and dirt underwater. You know when there's a dirt explosion underwater and you can't see shit for 17 hours? Yeah, I mean, that's what happens. But you don't need to. You don't need to film that. You don't need to recreate that.
Fucking dumb. There's so many fucking dumb moments.
Granted, you can see stuff here. Okay, the visuals are still there. What I'm saying is that unfortunately the story is awful. What is the story? Black Manta wants revenge.
We need.
That was the first fucking film. And and Arthur has a son now, and so he's got to manage the kingdom and his son, which you don't get to see. You just get, he's talking about it in the past, which probably would have been a more interesting film. Now he has to go off and deal with Black Manta. And they're like, well, Black Manta's suit is destroyed, so how is he a threat to Aquaman this time around? And don't worry about that.
Voodoo, baby.
Just green Necron magic. What?
Green is bad.
Green and black.
Green is bad.
Those are the bad ones. Mm-hmm. I think they're cool colors.
Arthur wants to
they're the good guys.
Unite the world.
No.
That's what happened in the first one.
No, that was the first one. Unite the Seven Kingdoms.
He actually did it this time, right?
No, this one was more like, now I will reveal myself to the surface people. And the Atlanteans are like, no, you can't do that because they suck and they're ruining the world. And then
Black Panther did it better.
And then they revealed later on that they were the ones that ruined the world because they were burning the green Necron liquid.
Something come.
What?
That's what it's called, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Okay, Joe.
Something come.
Necron come, man. I didn't think we'd
Don't
go there
burn it
today.
Don't burn it.
Are we even reviewing the film anymore? Well, let's go final verdicts.
For me, it's going to be a 3. It's way below average. It was a waste of my time. I did not like the CGI. I did like the Patrick and fucking
Is it
Jason.
really that bad? A 3
Yes,
out of
I don't
10.
want to watch this again. It was fucking boring.
Okay.
I was bored out of my mind. I was like, I need another drink. I laughed at
You did
inappropriate
get 3
moments.
drinks.
Inappropriate moments I laughed at. Everything else is fucking boring. The scenes jump from like scene to scene to scene.
Yeah.
I fucking hated the Pirate Haven. I was like, is this like the Star Wars thing? The girls singing and like,
oh my God, you're right. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah,
So they
exactly.
put in a George
You forgot about
Lucas.
the movie.
I
You
did.
already-
I just watched it.
Exactly.
5 minutes ago. I haven't
3.
even formulated my thoughts for an
3.
excellent critique of the film.
That is why it's
All I
a
know
3.
is that I didn't like it.
Exactly. You're gonna
No,
forget
sir.
about this fucking movie. You're just watching when it's streaming. It's not
Why
worth
is
going
this
out.
fish lady singing when
Yes.
the entire roof just fell apart and
she
all those
continued
people are
singing.
dead.
I was like, this is it's like they're doing the terrible CGI Star Wars thing.
But did you like the octopus sidekick, Topo?
No, I didn't give a shit about it.
How dare
And
you,
then-
Joe? That
and
was
The
very
cephalopod?
There was
funny.
there was a fucking Kraken. There was a Kraken, and
No,
Was there?
there was no Kraken.
it was a shitty
Kind
ass
of,
Kraken.
Whatever it
It
was.
was a monster.
He got attacked once, and then the Kraken just took off. I'm like,
Okay.
what, is that
But
it? That
Joe-
was a terrible scene.
Mara, all of her scenes. Do you think she did a good job
No,
at acting?
no.
This,
It's bad.
it's
I
bad.
did not
So
like
3
it.
out of 10.
Yes, 3 out of 10.
I forgot to mention that this film suffers from the whole, oh, I'm about to kill you, and then, oh, bro, I got punched. Oh, no. Oh, I'm about to do the thing. Bro, last minute somebody saves me. I swear to God, this thing
7.
happens
You
like
leaned over,
7.
you're like, that's
The
7.
7. It's like 7 times in a row, 8 times in a row, and it gets old, man.
Yes.
There was even one moment in the climax, we'll talk about it in the spoilers, where the villain is about to do the villain thing, and then he's like, what? And he looks over, and then the camera literally zooms out, and like, oh, okay, he's going to be in the room. No, they exit the room, they go to the island. Then they exit the island, they go to the next fucking 100 kilometers, and then they go underwater, and then they go to ships underwater. I'm like, what is happening?
You see dolphin
How did you
laziness.
do this? Anyways, I'm sorry. So 3 out of 10. Alex.
Yeah, I don't think this is a very good movie. I mean, this is a movie that feels like it's two movies smashed together, and I think it's probably when they went back and did a bunch of rewrites and refilms.
What are the two movies?
I don't know. Like, honestly, I don't know, because I feel like that there was a really promising,
Brotherly love
fish
film.
out of water, brotherly love.
That could have been cool.
That could have been cool, and I think that they could have leaned really heavily into it, because some of the scenes where the movie was working, that was great. Even when they're fighting together, even some of there was bad fight scenes between the two of them, like really bad ones. I even kind of liked them. I would have preferred more of that than what we got. And then we got...
You mean the wire work, the actual human beings firing when it's not CGI. Yes, that's what I said earlier.
There's some really interesting stuff going on there. And then we got this whole thing where we're on this evil, it's like Dr. Evil volcano island that's causing climate change, and the human world is mad at the fish world, and the fish world is mad at the
fuel stuff is stupid.
And it's such a huge part of the movie. And I know it's a spoiler, but then again, one of the characters goes,
"Fuck it.
It doesn't matter because it didn't matter in the beginning anyway." And so they throw that whole thing away.
There's
and then
no tension,
I didn't
no
like
nothing.
it. I didn't like that part of the movie, but you made me watch it. And so after an hour of making me watch this shit, and you're like, "We're throwing all that shit away? The fuck is this? Where's the waitress? I need another drink." And then and then
That's what you did.
and that's what he did. I couldn't get one. And then we focus on a completely new bad guy plot, which is like the Necron plot, which I think is more interesting than the other thing. If we had done buddy cop race to the Necron city of death, then I think that this is a cheesy, shitty, dumb, happy, like fun movie that I would rather have fun with it. So I got all of the things, but in such small quantities that I don't enjoy any of the things. I was going to give it a 4, but you know what? I think this man convinced me to give it a 3 because it does feel a little worse than below average. I don't think the fights are very good. No. I don't think the humor is very good. I don't think, honestly, Jason Momoa.
I laughed twice. We'll talk about it in spoilers.
Like, they have tried to have him do some like serious sad scenes.
I think Jason, because he got a story credit, he was like, let me inject some things here and there, and it works for Jason. I don't know if it works for Aquaman.
No. I think when he's sticking to his Ric Flair, I'm gonna have a good time, woo, and stabbing stuff. That's where he needs to be. Him crying over someone. That's not this movie. Like, let's not do that stuff. So I think that we misused a bunch of characters too. So I'm gonna agree with him, and I'm gonna say this is a 3.
Okay, initially when I started the review, I said this is half as good as the original Aquaman, which I quite enjoyed. I thought it was a visual feast and fun and energy. I gave that one. I looked it up. I thought I had given it an 8. I gave it a 7. So I gave it a 7. So this fucking film is half as good. So we're
no points.
3.5.
It's basically 3.5, and we do not do half points here. Never have. Be a man. Do the right thing. Do not be wishy-washy with your point. That's why I shamed IGN out of doing their stupid 7.9, 8.2. They don't do that shit no more. Anyways, it's a fucking 3, okay? Because I'm going down to a 3. And Alex and me, we have all made good points. I wanted it to be better. It's a wet fart. The DCEU is now over after 10 years. This is the final film. Is there an after-credit scene? Yes, but it has nothing to do with expanding or teasing or doing none of that. It doesn't even address that the DCEU is over. Jason Momoa says it doesn't look good for future Aquaman roles for him. So I think, honestly, he will be in the DCU, but I think he'll be Lobo, or maybe he'll be both, and he's just keeping it on the down low. I don't know, but I would retain Jason. I would have retained Henry Cavill.
He's too old. He's
bullshit.
So old. He's so old.
I actually, so far, I love all the casting so far. I'll just say that, and I'm impressed with the casting, except for the whole fucking James Gunn. Henry Cavill and James Gunn's brother is now going to be God in the universe. I don't fucking know. He's casting his brother in every goddamn role. Anyways, so 3 out of 10 all around from us. Downvote us all you want. Are there any DCEU fans left? No. There was the Snyderverse guys. And then this one. I know that the first one made $1 billion. But I don't think, if you watch the film, I don't think you're like, yeah, this one's better.
Well, before, the comments were nothing like, oh, you guys are nothing but DC fanboys. It's like, well, now we, like, what?
Bro, if anybody's been hard on the DC, it's been us. And trust me, we've tried to be DC fanboys. It just doesn't work. Anyways, I've seen more Marvel fanboys than I have seen that, but even that is fucking up.
Well, yeah, now it is. Yeah.
All right. Well, what a depressing. I thought I would say, oh yeah, go out and see this film. December 22nd, right? Oh, your family's in town. You need to go see a movie. Do you see this one? No. I gave it a 3 out of 10. No.
Go watch Wonka.
Instead,
Wonka.
I would actually watch Wonka a second time over going to this again. And that sucks.
The Boy and the
Because I
Heron was
like
good, too.
James Wan. The Boy and the Heron. Do that. It's a great film, though you have to kind of understand the history of his animation and the director himself to kind of get a lot of the subtext. And it does kind of end, but it's still a great film. I would definitely put it really high up there. Anyways, maybe you and me should do a review of that, actually, if we've seen it. Joe, you should see it. All right. So either go to A Boy and a Heron or Godzilla -1 if you haven't seen it yet, or Wonka with your family over Christmas break.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. If you want to suffer with us in the spoiler section, you can do so. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next AngryJoe show. Bye, guys.